Hello everybody, it's Michael from ReplicaAirguns.com. Today we're taking a look at the Umarex Walther CP88 Competition version, and this is a CO2 .177 caliber pellet pistol. And today we're doing the tabletop review, and there will not be any shooting in this video. I'll be following it up with a field test shooting review shortly. Now I have done a full review of the non-competition version, and I believe there's a little bit of a shooting review if I'm not mistaken. You can get a bit of an idea of how that shoots. Now the competition version theoretically should have more feet per second performance and potentially a little bit better accuracy. I guess we'll find out when I do my field test shooting review. Alright, both of these guns are available in the Replica Airguns online store. Well, we're going to focus in on the competition version here, so we're going to talk about that. I just have the regular standard version for comparison. Now the CP88 Competition is a non-blowback, pretty much all metal designed gun. This is the matte black version, so it's not really a glossy black. I would consider it more of a matte black. It uses 12 gram CO2 cartridges, shoots .177 caliber pellets, has an 8-shot rotary magazine, very typical to the Umarex German pellet shooters. This gun weighs in at 2.56 pounds, so a little bit heavier than the non-competition version. It's single action and double action, and it has a claimed FPS of 407, and it's a replica of a Walther P88. Now this gun is made by Umarex in Germany. Now it does come in a nice box here, right? Nice hard shell case. Inside the box you do get these two metal magazines. I'll keep one out just to show you how they load up. But these are the magazines that hold the pellets. Metal magazines. You've got a couple Allen keys. This one I believe is for the rear adjustable sight. I believe this one is for taking off the compensator or the extension there. And then of course you have your manual. I'm not going to go through that too much. Got your manual, airgun safety instructions here. Some more information about what kind of pellets to use, what not to use, those types of things. Alright, let's put this away for a second. So at this point I'm going to just quickly do a side-by-side comparison, because both these guns are pretty much the same gun. It's just that what we're looking at here is we have a compensator that's been added on to the end of the standard CP88. And you can see how there's a little bit of a recessed barrel. So I haven't taken the compensator off, but I imagine it just sort of goes in there and extends it a bit. And let's see here, competition, it's got that compensator grills there, so if it was an actual real gun that would, I guess, help with some of the dissipation of the charge. And we have these two screws, so I guess that Allen key wouldn't really be for those. I'm not really sure what the Allen key's for at this point. I'd have to look at the instructions. But it comes off, I'm sure, by loosening these screws. And you'll see here also, look at the top, how it kind of goes in where the sight is. So it just sort of, the sight comes off and it just sort of slots in there a little bit. And you can see that the barrel is definitely extended. It's not just for looks, it extends the barrel somewhat, okay? So that's going to give you, I'd say, a good 1.5 inches longer barrel, which is going to give you some more power theoretically. And we'll find out when I do the test. Alright, let's take a quick, that's pretty much it. The gun, the CP88, the standard version, is lighter for sure. Maybe a little bit better balance. I guess it depends what you're looking for. This one is a little more front heavy, but the gun has good weight as is, so this just adds a little more weight. Alright, we'll put the CP88 aside here. Let's take a look at the left side of this gun. So again, you have the competition writing there. We have Walther CP88, of course. Right, all metal. Just the grips are plastic. Everything pretty much is metal on this gun. Right. So now what's working here? From this side, that's not working. This is the magazine release. It's not the magazine release in this case. You push it the other direction, and it opens up the CO2 cover. Okay. And so you would finger tighten the CO2, drop it in there, finger tighten it as much as possible, and then clamp that down to tighten the CO2 in there. And then pop this guy back on, which is hard to do on camera. There it is. And this here would normally be the slide catch release. It is not. It actually is the release for putting the rotary magazine in. So we'll just pop that in there, just like that. Okay, and that's how that goes in there. We have our safety, and you'll notice also, I'll show it to you if you can see this here, it's just covers it, so it basically just covers it up, right? So your hammer is basically disengaged from the firing pin by doing that. So you can still release the hammer, but it's not going to do anything. Alright? Now in double action, nothing happens when the safety is on. But double action, nice and smooth. Single action, nice. So single action gives you a shorter trigger pull. There you go. Double action, longer pull, but not too bad. Let's take a look at the right side of this gun. Of course, Umarex likes to put the white lettering on here. Gotta make sure everybody knows not to do crazy stuff. So I'm not a big fan of the white lettering. I wonder if there's a way you could dull it out somehow. People ask all the time. There's no real way to rub it off unless it's not, now it's not indented or anything, so I guess there potentially is a way, but you'd probably could potentially ruin the finish on here if you tried to rub it off or cover it up. You might have to find a similar color and put it over top, but you'd probably see the different shades. So not a big, I wouldn't suggest it. Just leave it as is my suggestion. Alright, so here we have the ambidextrous safety. Again, we have our plastic grip, and again, this is the side you push on to allow the other side here to come off, the other grip to come off for CO2 access. It's your compensator. Nice feeling gun, and this gun feels great. Okay, so let's take a look at the top. Look at our sight picture first. Now the nice thing about this is because it's longer, because this front sight is further out, so you can see how there's a difference here. So there's the sights. This sight is further out. That's going to allow a better sight picture, a more accurate sight picture. The further you extend the front and the rear sight, the distance apart, the more accurate guns tend to be because there's less margin for error. Shorter the sights get, you can wiggle them around, you just don't know if you're on, because what happens is the gun will just twist a little bit, you just can't see it with a short sight. If this barrel were really long and it comes over just a bit, you can see it in the rear sight a lot easier. So that's going to help definitely with accuracy as well, even if the barrel length doesn't do much. Okay, so let's take a look at that front sight again. Alright, this rear sight is adjustable. You just basically undo this Allen key and move it back and forth for windage, but not elevation. Again, double and single action trigger. We'll take a look at that barrel one more time. Okay, nice recessed barrel. You can probably, hopefully you can see some of the rifling in it there. Not too much. This is again for the CO2, so the magazine isn't down there. It doesn't have anything to do with the magazine. Finish is great. You don't really see a lot of crazy seams or anything. No burrs or any of that. This is a very high quality, very well made gun. It's going to last a long time. Alright, that's pretty much it for show and tell. Now, as I said already, there isn't going to be any shooting in this part of the test, so I can't give you a lot of my feedback in terms of how this gun's going to perform right now. But you can watch my standard CP88 video, and there's a little bit of shooting, and I believe there's a target there, and there may be a chronograph. I'd have to actually double check, but I'm pretty sure there's a chronograph test and a target test for that pistol. If not, I will be doing one very soon for this gun. And I probably will go head to head. I probably will at least chrony them together so we can get an idea of the different FPS. I may or may not do an accuracy test side by side, but we'll see. So let's get into some of the pros and the cons. Again, this is an all-metal constructed gun. It has a very good weight and a super solid feeling in the hand. It's made with German quality and is fully Walther licensed. Comes in a nice hard shell case with 2 magazines. The general look of the gun with the matte finish is very nice. The finish, the fit is great. It does have an adjustable rear sight for windage, which for me, windage is probably the most important because a lot of times guns will just nick a little to the left or right. It's easy to adjust up and down, but sometimes having that left and right targeting being off can be a real pain in the butt. Now this gun shoots again in both double and single action, and the trigger pulls in both actions are very smooth, with the single action being a little bit lighter and obviously shorter. It's nice that it has the ambidextrous safeties just like the real steel version. And again, it should have equally good accuracy like the standard CP88 and perhaps a bit more FPS because of the longer barrel. Alright, some of the cons. This is a bit more of an expensive gun because of the German quality, all the heavy metal parts, but you do get what you pay for. It is a high quality gun. Now the sights may be a bit hard on certain dark backgrounds since they are all black with no white dots, so keep that in mind. And again, that engraving on the right side of the gun is a bit loud with the white on the black. Now this gun, weighing in at almost 2.6 pounds, may be a bit heavy for some shooters. So if you're shooting it all day, it might get just a little bit heavy in your hands. Alright, that wraps up this tabletop review of the Umarex Walther CP88 Competition. Don't forget to subscribe. Check me out on Facebook and Twitter. Username is Replica Airguns. Come on down to replicaairguns.com where we sell this gun. We also have our Canada and US stores where we sell air guns, BB guns, pellet guns, airsoft guns, blank guns, knives, and other accessories. And of course we have a lot of reviews, posts, articles, photos, and whatnot. So come on down to replicaairguns.com and check that all out. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.